Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Boy, big news. I just got done doing a video that was talking about this very case that was going to start tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. I upload my video, I send it out, and I get a message while it's playing back like an hour later, because I set it up for an hour after I uploaded it. They said that Jim Harbaugh has already dropped his case against the Big Ten, and he's going to accept the 3-game suspension, which shocked the crap out of me. So it appears the white flag has been raised with the Big Ten, and they have said, never mind.
That's very different. Never mind.
So anyway, let's get into this. Surprised me a little bit. This is by Dan Wetzel and Ross Dellinger of Yahoo Sports about how Michigan dropped its court case against the Big Ten for sign-stealing scandal. It says they've ended their pending legal dispute over Harbaugh's 3-game sportsmanship suspension. It was supposed to be on at 9 a.m., and they had, they had a Michigan guy that, as the judge that went there, also gives lectures there. And my understanding was he was on the team at one time. So, I mean, they had the perfect guy. So something big must have happened. And I told you folks a couple of days ago, I think something's going to drop. And I think their concern was something was going to drop in that case, because here's the thing. The judge can ask questions, okay? He can find things out, and the Big Ten attorneys can answer those questions. And it may have been, like I said, when you go into court, anything can happen. And I think Michigan went, I don't know that I want to do that. Maybe we ought to just take the 3-game suspension.
Does the defense's case hold water?
No, the defense is wrong.
Maybe they know more than we think they know. It can get a little bit creepy in there. Exactly, just like that. And that sound plays in a courtroom. If you haven't been in there, you don't know. Anyway, they're going to accept the suspension for alleged in-person scouting by Connor Stalions. So he's going to miss the Maryland game and the Ohio State game. The Big Ten is going to drop its investigation, which really it's all about the NCAA and the FBI at this point. That's really, and it's the FBI thing that would be concerning, because there's no telling I'm not going to say a whole lot about that, but that's what I thought might drop. So that was more, I wasn't talking about this. I thought they would go ahead with it, but I thought something might drop in that case on Friday. And maybe Michigan thought, that could be the case. And it's not because they're watching my show, I don't believe. And another reason they may have done this is they were concerned Big Ten might do some additional punishment. And I guess they figured, hey, if we get in the playoff, that might be safer, but it's really hard to say. I think they have more things to be concerned about, because they sure were fighting it. It said Coach Harbaugh, with the university's support, decided to accept the sanction to return the focus to our student athletes and their performance on the field. And that's Jim for you. He never stops thinking about the kids.
It's got to be America's team. It's got to be America's team.
That's right, America's team. America. Stallion, who's alleged to have sent friends to the games of future opponents. And I have not stopped looking at you, South Carolina Gamecocks. Yeah, playing 2 top 10 teams that would have been in the way of Michigan and all that. Now, I'm not done with you. Y'all might be lucky it did get called off. Allegedly. It says the NCAA has been investigating Michigan since October 18th. And of course, Stallions resigned not shortly thereafter. The NCAA has yet to find any evidence tying Harbaugh directly to the scheme. So whether or not he directly knew about it or was just looking the other way, it's hard to say. Not going to matter in the long run, because it's going to be a lack of institutional control is what's going to be the big issue. It says it is possible the NCAA could uncover new information, including the knowledge of other staffers or assistant coaches on the Michigan staff. And we're going to talk about that here in just a moment too. Something might be significant. Number 2, Ohio State visits Michigan. Of course, it's going to be on the road for Ohio State, and that's going to be a game that I can't wait to see the numbers on that. How many people do you think will watch that game? It's going to be like a playoff game for sure, maybe bigger, because this is so personal, because Ohio State feels very cheated. If you look at their record, they'd beaten Michigan 8 straight times, and pretty convincingly. Then all of a sudden, Connor Stalions shows up, and they get beat by 2 touchdowns and then 3 touchdowns at Ohio State's home field. And C.J. Stroud can't do anything right in the game. Just makes no sense, especially the second half. None of that makes sense. Might have cost him a Heisman. You never know. Says Michigan's dream season was rocked with allegations of Stalions' actions. Petitti declared an organized, extensive, years-long, in-person advanced scouting scheme that was impermissible He also recorded it, by the way, with smartphones. Such misconduct inherently compromises the integrity of competition. And that's the thing that has got me concerned about all this. There's a can of worms there that eventually is going to get opened. And I'm telling you, I got a bad feeling about this whole situation.
You're going to need a bigger boat.
Especially with the FBI there. And this is a story by The Spun, by Sports Illustrated. And this one says, a Michigan football coach appears to have deleted his Twitter account. This was a couple hours ago. It says, it's been a weird year for Michigan football program, to say the least. With that said, it appears defensive passing game coordinator and defensive backs coach Steve Clintscale has deleted his Twitter account. It says the college football community discovered on Thursday that Clintscale account no longer exists. Some people believe the timing of Clintscale's deleting this account is suspicious. It says, I'm not really someone interested in gossip or propaganda or propagating random conspiracy theories, but it does feel unusual for a high-ranking coach member to have his Twitter account deleted a month before signing day, Ohio State analyst Jeremy Birmingham said. And here's Jeremy Birmingham put this on Twitter, which I guess is X. And that's where he said this and then showed where the account doesn't exist. And Clintscale was brought in 2021, co-defensive coordinator in 22. He's not commented on his social media, and he's not required to. What does that mean? I don't know. It's just kind of the timing of it's a little bit odd. We'll see how this all plays out, but I felt like I needed to do this video because I had just done one previously today talking about the big hearing tomorrow. So there's not going to be one.
Never mind.
Hey, that hurt.
The 3-game suspension stays in place. He won't be there for Maryland. He won't be there for Ohio State, the biggest game of the year. But after that, he probably will be able to continue to coach because the NCAA is not going to act that fast. They're just not. They are just known for being super slow. Look, I'm a Tennessee fan. I know all about it. 2 years they took to figure out what happened with Jeremy Pruitt, and that was with Tennessee cooperating fully. Michigan's not cooperating at all. I mean, they finally declared uncle there for a minute on this thing because I think they're more concerned about bigger fish or bigger problems. But I could be wrong, but I don't know. Something doesn't smell right here. It just doesn't. It's got a real reek to it. And I know all of us are going to be watching that Ohio State Michigan game. That's going to be absolutely huge. Oh, man. And I wanted to bring this out because, like I said, it just dropped, literally just dropped. I was out hitting range balls. And I got on social media and it's like, oh my gosh, it all changed. And if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Let's continue to cover this type of thing. And of course, I usually cover the Vols and the SEC, but this thing is just, I can't look away from it. So if you want to continue to get my videos, I'll keep track of this for you. Just hit this little button right here. It's a subscribe button, and it'll help you get my videos. It won't cost you a dime. And right over here's the most recent video that YouTube thinks you'll enjoy, and it's the one I did just before this one. So anyway, we'll see you next time on Sports Talk Jay.